Welcome to the Sporty Sibling Podcast,
where we score touchdowns and make bets.
To Trier. Trier drives down and throws it down. Oh, Alonzo Trier.
Today they're gonna match off and talk about
Welcome back to a special edition, an exciting edition of the Sports Podcast. God, gee willikers, was it a World Cup to remember?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had that. We had, we even had. And of course we had awesome. We just had all the emotions today.
Yes.
And the best part is that even with the Cowboys losing that Sunday, we were still happy.
Yeah.
And that's saying something because that usually never happens.
You know that.
Yeah, even got my Morocco shirt. Bam. Gotta support.
Yeah.
But let us get started. So, Trash Panda, take us to the first section. Awesome. So, for those listening, Eunice, tell me, what is your feelings? How do you feel about the World Cup now that it's over? And yeah, just how do you feel? Time starts.
Honestly, I feel great. I'll be honest, Hershey. I know I've kind of told you about this before, but I'll express it again. I know I've said before on this podcast, but some people may not remember since it's been a while. But I've personally never been a fan of men's soccer. Nothing against men's soccer. They are great. When it comes to soccer, I've always preferred the women's. It's just, for me, it's more entertaining. I feel like the teams are actually a bit better personally for the women's, at least in America for sure. It's just, that's how it is. I usually, when the World Cup comes around, obviously I watch it with Hershey or our mother and father, but not so. But this World Cup really had me excited. I truly enjoyed the change, not the changes, but I enjoyed the surprises that we experienced. Obviously, it started from the group stage. I mean, there's teams that didn't even make it past the group stage that we thought were going to pass. I mean, Belgium was knocked out in the group stage, which was something very surprising. Even Mexico was knocked out. We thought they'd come through. Germany was knocked out. It's just, there was teams. So it already started big in the group stage. Then you get to, what's it called? Starting off in the knockout stage, and it just became such a just a big thing. I mean, obviously, sadly, USA got out. I know, Hershey, you want them to get by and go, but sadly that wasn't the case. But then you had teams like Croatia, you had teams like Morocco that we didn't expect to make it this far, but they did. And then you get to the quarterfinals. Croatia beat Brazil of all teams. Okay, Argentina, Netherlands, great match, absolutely amazing. Morocco making history, beating Portugal, making it to the semifinals, being the first ever South African team to make it this far. Then you had Croatia versus Argentina, which was again amazing. Despite the score, it was amazing. Morocco, personally, Hershey, you and I talked after the Morocco versus France game. Morocco, aside from Argentina, because obviously we'll get to the Argentina versus France game, Morocco at the time giving France probably the hardest fight that they had thus far before the championship match. I mean,
Mm,
and it was amazing. And Morocco should not be ashamed of themselves in that game against France. It was they did absolutely amazing. And up until the championship game, for me personally, Herson, you agreed with me. They gave the best fight to France. That I
oh,
think France would agree. After before the championship game, they were probably the ones that gave the best fight to France, despite not going into overtime or anything like that. And obviously, we'll get to the third place match in the championship soon enough. But I loved the World Cup. I liked the surprises. I liked seeing that the teams that I thought would make it, some of them didn't make it. Teams that I was, slightly rooting for, but I didn't expect, made it as far as they did. And it was just overall great. It was probably I think it was the first, personally for me, it was the first World Cup that kept me entertained.
yeah, that's couldn't have said better myself. I mean, I am going to say it better, but you know, perfect. You beat your clock, so it's my turn. My time starts now, and this World Cup, ladies and gentlemen, was different. 100% different. Okay, let's be serious. Let's look at the world before we get into the World Cup. Let's look at the world before the World Cup. We had COVID, so 2018 happens. The World Cup goes. No, Messi loses. France goes on to win it. And Mbappe becomes the second youngest player to win the World Cup. Okay. COVID happens. The world basically shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
2020, 2021, 2022, we're getting a resemblance of life back into our world. But of course, we look at the sadness and destruction of the way the world is, and we needed something to bring nations together to say, hey, you are not a different skin color than me. You are not a different city than me. No, we are all American, Moroccan, Argentinian, French, Croatian, Japanese, Brazilian. You are your nation. And that's what this World Cup was supposed to be about. Now, because of that, the World Cup is exactly what this world needed to bring us together. Because sometimes we forget that we're one nation. No, we're one team. No, and of course we want to see our nation lift a trophy that very, very few possess. I mean, let's be serious. Very few possess. No, because of that. To me, this was such a different World Cup, and I'm so happy for it. It was a World Cup that I will never forget. And moreover to that, it was a historic World Cup. I mean, the history that was made, again, like you stated, Morocco being the first African nation to make it to the semifinals. No, and almost made it to the finals. Let's be serious. But when you look at all the smaller records, like for example, Qatar being the first host nation, mind you, not all records are good, but Qatar being the first host nation to not only host the World Cup, but also the first host nation. I'm sorry, the first Middle Eastern nation to host the World Cup, but also the first nation to lose their opening match and be the fastest out of the tournament. Messi now is not only the goal leader for Argentina, but he's also played the most World Cup games with 26. Morocco, obviously, we talked about that. Cristiano Ronaldo became the first player to score in 5 World Cups. Messi's the first player to score in all of the shootouts that they've had in one World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Kane became the record holder scoring for England. Manuel Neuer from, I believe, Germany broke the record for most appearances with 19 for a goalkeeper. We thought that these records were never going to be broken, and yet they were. And because of that, that's what made this World Cup so amazing. And again, then we move into the whole other side of, who made it, who didn't make it. Like you said, moving past the group stage, we didn't think how much Japan was gonna almost beat Croatia, or how much France was gonna. How much Morocco was gonna beat Spain, or Portugal beating the heck out of Switzerland 6-1 and then losing 1-0 to Portugal. France almost losing to England. Croatia beating Brazil in penalty kicks. Argentina beating in penalty kicks. No, and then of course we'll know moving forward from there to the third place matches and everything. And then the final was arguably the best final we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah.
But one outside of those things, the one thing that did show more that really, really is impactful, the internal and external issues that FIFA has in their system. They allowed extortion, bribery, and all around disgustingness into the World Cup, into something that's supposed to be a religious experience. How else can you explain Qatar getting it over United States, over Brazil, hell, over South Africa, over Japan, China? We have all the infrastructure already. We need a couple of updates, but still. But overall, this World Cup will be one that I will never forget. And I'm so excited. That's all the time we have for that one. Yes, it's okay, guys. It's okay. Everybody can cry. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know. A corazon. But Trash Panda, give us the next question or game. Third place match: Morocco versus Croatia. I almost said Argentina. My bad.
I'm about to say.
2-1. I'll start this one off. What can you say? These two nations were just wow. Were just wow. And first and foremost, like you stated, Morocco, and what I like the way I said last week, a couple of days ago, Morocco should hold their heads high because you've made history. You've done something that no one else has done. Croatia, you still made it to the third place matchup and you gave everybody a hell of a matchup. And even in this third place match, oh my God, like the statistics on it are ridiculous. I mean, 51% to 49% possession, Croatia and Morocco. No, 6-3 corner kicks. No, Croatia had 12 shots, 4 on goal, while Morocco had 9, 2 on goal. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, they were just going offensively in this game. And just overall, it was just a very good game. And again, whenever you're looking at the differences of these two teams, I mean, Croatia is a much older team. Morocco is much younger. I mean, at this point, Morocco, they could have ended in third place, but to end even in fourth place overall, I mean, that is not a bad place to go. And I do like what one of the players said from Croatia. He said, "This medal is for the Croatian people. It's really great that we won 2 medals in 2 tournaments. Big congratulations to my players." Again, that's more than anyone has done. Sure, do you always want to host the trophy at the end? Yes. But how many people can say, "Hey, I have a second place and third place medal from the World Cup"? So I think in the long run it is. But Yacine Bonu, the goalkeeper for Morocco, was just wow. He played amazing. 2 saves, and honestly could have had those other 2 saves because those 2 goals from Croatia were just too good. They were just too good. So Croatia, tip my hat off to you. Morocco, you've made a fan out of me. Can't wait to see what you guys do in 2026 here in America. Excited for that one. But that is all for me. Eunice, go ahead.
I mean, you really put it best, Hersa. I mean, it was just we had 2 teams. Don't ask for it. We had 2 teams that by far, I think, aside from the 2 teams that played in the championship, these 2 teams surprised everyone. Obviously, Morocco being a bit more of a surprise because they made history, but Croatia nonetheless also surprising everyone, beating Brazil as well. Just making it as far as they did. Hell, beating Brazil in penalty kicks nonetheless. It was a match that I thought was going to be great, and it was. I mean, it was clearly pretty even on when you look at the statistics. They were for a team that, to be fair, Croatia technically, if you were to think about it, should have been the better team. Just like you said, so they're an older team, but Morocco really showing that they kind of showed the same ferocity that France has been showing. They are a young team, and they're here to change things up, and I like that. If anything, this gives me excited for next World Cup, because I think Morocco, obviously they had a lot of momentum behind them, and a lot of people had hoped that they would make it as far as going to the championship match, but they still made history, and I think that this was a turning point. I think if anything, I'm expecting Morocco to possibly make the championship match in 2026, because I think now they've got a taste of it. They know that they let's be real here, they went into this whole thing kind of like, if we lose, we lose. We got nothing to lose. There you go. We got nothing to lose. But now that they know, like, they did that with that kind of attitude, imagine if they had the attitude like, we're out for blood, we want to win. Imagine that. And obviously they're going to get a few more years now to actually get prepared for that. And I think they could do better next year. I mean, they already did it. They already almost got there. So it's like, I'm very excited. But this match was just amazing. I think in this case, Croatia definitely changed it up. Obviously, throughout the entire tournament, we saw them play heavily defense and rely on, like, the other team essentially exhausting themselves, but it did kind of backfire against them against Argentina. They ended up being the ones more tired out. And I think when they went against Morocco, they said, you know what, we got to switch things up. We can't do that. We already saw that kind of hurt us against Argentina. If we want to get this third place, we have to change it up. And they went more offensive. And I commend them for that. Morocco obviously still doing great. Like you said, the goalie from Morocco had some great saves against Croatia, but at the end of the day, Croatia did manage to get one more goal, and they managed to defend for the rest of the game, because all the goals were made early on. The first one by I'm not gonna say his last name, but Joko from Croatia made it in the 7th minute, and then a Traf from Morocco made it in the 9th minute, and then the second goal by Croatia was made in the 42 minute. So from the 42 minute up until the end, I'm not sure how much penalty time was added to the game, but essentially from the 42nd minute up until the end of the game, Croatia successfully defended their goal, and you have to commend them for that, despite Morocco obviously making efforts to try to get another goal. And honestly, it was just a great match.
Mm-hmm. I think overall that's 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
But perfect, beating the clock as always. Now time for the heck of a match. Trash Panda, take us to the finale. For that, so Eunice, go ahead and go first.
Yay! Oh my God. Best match in the entire World Cup for me personally, and probably one of the best World Cup finals I have ever witnessed.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot. Just amazing playing by both teams. It truly was, like Hersa, we talked about this, it was really end of an era versus the beginning of a new era. Lionel Messi versus, I do not know his first name, Mbappe.
Not Kyle, but Kylie Mbappe.
Kylie Mbappe. You had these two, obviously Mbappe being one of the youngest players to win the World Cup, last World Cup, and then obviously Messi wanting to get trying to get that World Cup win, that's been eluding him all these years. It was a phenomenal game. Obviously, starting off the game, great. Both teams were playing amazing. I will say, and some may agree with me, some may not. I know I'm not sure if you got to see this or not. The foul that caused the first goal for Argentina, which was a penalty kick that Messi scored, I'm not sure if that was a foul. In all fairness, I'm not sure if it should have been a penalty kick. I didn't see it when it actually happened. I saw it in a replay of the goals. And when I saw that, I have to admit, I'm not particularly sure if it happened, but, I'm not going to go against the referee's decisions, especially because I don't know as much about soccer, so I could have been wrong. But from what I understand, it's a bit of a 50-50 call, but it was done. Messi, obviously, being the experienced penalty kicker that he is, easily made the first goal. Argentina 1-0. Then you had the goal by Di Maria, which, oh my God, that was just beautiful. That goal by Di Maria. Exactly. Di Maria, it was just, and there was honestly the France goalie, he did great. He did his best, but that was just pure experience, just pure like adrenaline. It was just a great shot. Okay. And going into halftime, quote unquote, between the first and halftime, you really thought Argentina was going to win. They were dominating 2-0. They were just completely, they were holding France by the neck essentially. But then France, second half, they started to come back. I mean, the first shot by Mbappe in the 80th minute, oh my God, Hersa. It was incredible. If anyone who watched the game or watching the replays, it was an astonishing shot. It really was. There was nothing else. It was nothing the Argentinian goalie could have done. It was just an incredible shot. And then obviously, just like a minute or two later, what happens? Argentina, he hit it with his elbow, which I don't think he meant.
I don't think he meant to. I think it was accidental.
He didn't mean to, but it did hit his elbow. So I can understand the referee's call on that because
that's not a judgment call from the ref. Like if it's accidental, they'll let it go. And to me, that's why I say it was accidental. Keep going.
Yeah, it was accidental, but in the heat of the moment, it does look like he tried to do it. So I understand. Penalty kick, Mbappe making the penalty kick. Now it's tied 2-2. And oh my God, Hersa, up until when overtime started, they were just fighting. I mean, I told you this because I called you about it. I found it a little bit funny. I won't lie. I know it was a very serious match, but they both teams kept going for headers and they kept knocking their heads against each other. It made me laugh. It really made me laugh. Honestly, I truly kind of worried about the players because they were knocking their heads hard against each other. You think they called them back for a concussion protocol or something, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're used to doing that. Yeah. Then overtime happens. Oh my God, Hersa. Overtime was incredible. I will say Argentina did dominate overtime for the most part. They obviously, them being more experienced in the overtime penalty kick kind of category compared to France. Argentina definitely had Messi's goal in overtime was just beautiful. And I don't get me wrong, the France goalie did amazing. And honestly, I thought that Messi didn't even make the goal until I realized, it passed the line. The defender was inside the goal when he hit the ball. I was like, he made it, and it was just awesome. And then you had and I thought that was it. I thought Argentina won. That's game. But then what happens? France comes around, and oh my God, the third goal by
Mbappe.
Mbappe. I'm sorry. I was trying to pronounce his first name. Mbappe. Oh my God, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was again another great shot, and sadly, I feel like a lot of people, when they realized it was going to penalty shots or penalty shootout, I think that's when people realized now who the winner was, because let's be honest, we all know Argentina is a much more experienced team when it comes to penalty shootout. Doesn't mean France is bad. Doesn't mean that they're never going to win a penalty shootout. It simply put, it was now a new team versus an experienced team when you think about it. And in penalty shootouts, experience matters. And you saw it clearly. As soon as you saw Messi, as soon as I saw Messi make that first goal, how he did it so casually, like he's done it so many times. He walked so casually. Honestly, that was kind of like an FU, in all fairness. It was decided then and there. The Argentinian goalie obviously blocking the second and third penalty shots by France. You know, he's done this before, and then the Argentina kickers making their shots. It was just you knew the outcome. I think after the second shot by both teams, you just knew what was going to happen. And honestly, France should not be ashamed. They put up a great fight, and I'm pretty sure that in the future they will win. If they ever make it to the, I know they'll make it to the World Cup again. If they ever have to do another penalty shootout, I think they'll win eventually. It's just, you know, this one was not it. And Argentina, bravo. Messi, bravo. You finally got the goal that you were chasing after all this time, and now he can retire happy. If anything, it kind of reminds me like Peyton Manning when he won with the Broncos.
Yeah. But my turn.
Yes.
Start. So, first and foremost, this is what Messi said after, the match. He said, I won the Copa America and the World Cup in a short time. I love what I do, being in the national team, and I want to continue living a few more games being a world champion. I'm going to take the cup to Argentina to enjoy with you. Yeah. Okay. Mind you, that's saying that he's not going to retire right now. But then, you also, Lionel Scaloni, said, first of all, we need to save him a spot for the World Cup 2026. If he wants to keep playing, he will be with us. I think he is more than entitled to decide whether he wants to keep playing or what he wants to do with his career. It is such a huge pleasure for us to coach him and his teammates. Everything that he transmits to his teammates is something unparalleled, something I have never seen before. A player, a person who gives so much to his teammates. Like, that alone that's basically saying Messi is soccer to our Argentina. And we saw that in this matchup. I mean, for God's sakes, when we're looking at the scores, the first one, okay, so the first penalty kick, again, when he converts the penalty with the left-footed shot to the bottom right corner. Anyone that saw it, he just went pitter-patter, stopped, he saw the goalie, and just kicked it in. Calm, collected. The stage was not too big. And then what happens at second goal, like you said, it was, where is it? By Di Maria. It was Di Maria. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And the first half arguably was dominated by Argentina. Mm-hmm. But like you said, in the second half, France comes back. And what happens in the 80th minute? Kylian Mbappe, right-footed shot from the left side to the right side of the box. Boom. From an assist from Marcus Thuram. All right. 1 minute later, literally 1 minute later, they get, again, a penalty that I disagree with because I feel like it just kind of hit him. An accident. It doesn't look like. I feel like VR should have rechecked that and see whether it was actual on purpose or not. But I do understand your point of view, Eunice, where in the moment it looked on purpose. No, so I think VR should have taken a look back at it and seen. But fine. No, what happens? Mbappe capitalizing and it's 2-2. Then you go into overtime. Argentina goes up 3-2. Mbappe again. And this is what I want to say about this game is that it was back and forth. It was the past in Lionel Messi, somebody that's been playing since he was 16 years old, has been to the mountaintop, but never actually planted the flag in top of the mountain. against the future, Mbappe, the second youngest player to win a World Cup behind Pele. The past against the future. Who's going to win? No. Who's going to ride off into the sunset? And then, of course, the penalties. Now, I do agree with you, Eunice, in the part that penalties are a bit of a skill because it's you and the goalie. Nobody else, just you and the goalie. And Lionel Messi and Mbappe set the tone, said, hey, we're going to do this. Beautiful penalties from both.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Calm. What I want people to see is that the calmness, the control. The stage was not big enough. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is the biggest stage in the world, bigger than the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA championship. I don't care. This is the biggest stage. I mean, the only thing that comes close is the Olympics. But it was like, this is a Tuesday. That's how they handled it. But obviously, it was not. It was too much for the other ones. And then, I literally was watching the last goal from, and I'm gonna butcher his name. No, Gonzalo Montiel. He's 19 years old, Eunice. 19.
Mhm.
He scores the game winner in the last game against Croatia. It's all on him. If he makes it, that's it. If he misses it, France has one more shot to tie it up. And Eunice, if you saw it, right?
Yeah.
You saw how beautiful it was, how calm he was. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was 19, I was a mess. This stage would have killed me. And I think Eunice would have done the same for her.
I mean, at 19, COVID was going on. I was stressing about that. I wouldn't have had time to worry about the World Cup.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, this kid controls and just says, boom. And Messi rides off into the sunset. This has been one of the best games. And we wanted that. That's what this World Cup needed. A game that will leave us speechless. And that's what this game did. Left us speechless.
Yep.
Perfect. Trash Panda, take us to the last question. Thank you so much. Yes, Eunice. So, tell me, 4 years from now, when the World Cup is here, what are you looking forward to? United States, Mexico, and
well, I'd like to say, I think I can agree that the thing we're both probably most excited for is to go watch the games.
hell yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm just looking forward to seeing the teams that surprised us the most this World Cup, that fell short from winning the gold, from winning the gold to doing more in next season, next World Cup. France, obviously, I think everyone agrees they are going to be for sure dominating the next couple World Cups as long as Mbappe is there. I think up until he retires, at probably a lot of them retire in their 30s, sometimes early 40s. Like until then, I'm expecting France to always make it either to the World Cup semifinals, at least honestly up until the semifinal or World Cup, in my opinion. They just have to have some really bad injuries, in my opinion, for them to not make it to that far with the team that they have. Okay,
Yeah.
Morocco, honestly, maybe hopefully next World Cup or one of the ones soon. I'm expecting them to make it to the championship game, possibly win it, because while they do not have, they obviously do not have the resources that these other teams have. Because France is a good team, but they also come from a nation that has way more resources for them to get better. Morocco, they don't have the same resources that France, England, Brazil has. But
Oh yeah.
look how far they made it. I truly think Morocco is going to make it. I'm not sure if they'll win the championship game. I'd like to hope to see them win the championship game soon, sometime in at least the next 3 World Cups. I'd hope next year, or next World Cup, but obviously we can't control that. But I'd love to see them win. I truly think they can make it to a championship. Croatia, again, they surprised everyone this year, and I think if anything, next World Cup, I am definitely kind of betting my money on Croatia making it to the championship game. I mean, they, I know they fell short this game, but that's just because I think they overtired themselves. They obviously see that they can do well defensively, but I think they're going to work on their offensive game, trying to be more aggressive, so that they can kind of switch on and off. I think if they can hone in on that kind of aggressive offense that some of the powerhouses we see in the World Cup use, and then switch on between that and their highly defensive game that they mainly use throughout the World Cup this year, I think if they can really master that skill of going back and forth, I think they can win the World Cup. But that's up to them to decide. Obviously, I'd like to see USA make it a bit more. Hopefully, USA versus Mexico as well. Obviously, that's a game that we've always wanted to see, and hopefully, we'll get to see this next World Cup. And I'm hoping just to see these teams. If anything, I'm kind of hoping for some of the other teams that we're used to not seeing make it. Maybe teams like, I don't know, Senegal, or maybe this time Germany or Belgium will actually make it past the group stage. I mean, I'm just hoping to have some great matches. I'm hoping to get another amazing World Cup final, hoping to watch that amazing World Cup final, and just see who makes it.
I mean, I don't know if we'll get one just as good as this one, but hopefully it's close.
Yeah.
But perfect. My turn. So, like you said, I agree with you. I'm so freaking excited to see it here in America, and it's literally at home for us. I mean, United States, we literally have 2 down the street from us, in Dallas and in Houston. Okay, I can literally drive to Dallas and Houston within 3 hours. Obviously, you live in Dallas, so it's there. And then we have places like Atlanta, Boston, Kansas City, New York, Miami, Los Angeles, Philly, San Francisco, Seattle. But then we also have family in Mexico that they're hosting it. Guadalajara, Mexico, Monterrey. Then we're up north, Toronto, Vancouver. I mean, such beautiful cities, such perfect places to go and visit just to watch soccer. I love it. That is so exciting. So I'm really excited to be able to witness it and feel it, and especially for the show is gonna be a lot of fun and on our end, because we get to again just experience it, and I think it's gonna really really help us in the long run. On the other side, though, I'm excited to see the future of the teams. Croatia is a very older team, and like I said last week, a lot of their players are in their upper 30s, and they're looking to retire. Who knows if they have enough to make it to the World Cup in 2026? Not because they don't want to or because they can, but just the age. When you're in your late 35 and up, I mean, do you really have enough to last that long anymore? No, considering you're still playing for a nation, you're still playing for your club team. Can you do all that stuff? Who knows? So with Croatia, are they gonna be more than old enough, or they're gonna bring everybody back? What's gonna happen? Then you have the question: is Messi actually going to retire? So does Argentina now flow into a new one? Again, Mbappe is 23 years old. He's still very young. How is he going to continue leading? France, because they do have older players, so they have to bring in more people, different people. And I think this World Cup had a lot about age, and I want to see in 2026 that age difference now. Who is there? Who's not going to be there? United States, a very young team. Another big question for me that I can't wait to hear about is, whoever hosts the nation, that nation's team is automatically in the tournament. So are all 3 nations going in? Canada, Mexico, United States? Or is it just 1 or 2, or how are they going to handle it?
Yeah.
No, and like you said too, I can't wait to see Morocco in the future. No, they're a very young team. They're a very well coached team. They're just overall, they're very, very good. So to say that they can make it further, I believe at 100% that they can make it even further.
And
No,
you know what? It just brought this to that. It's just something small, nothing in terms of the tournament itself and such. But I'm very curious. Obviously, we know that in the closing ceremony of the World Cup, when the awards are handed out, usually the ruler of the host nation comes to help pass out awards. Obviously, recent years, especially this year, we sadly saw a, how should I say, kind of disrespect, if you would, in all fairness. Obviously, cultural differences towards women, sadly, but every culture is different. Things are different when it comes to the whole male, female, how things work. But obviously, coming to the United States, are we gonna have all three presidents, helping hand out awards? Obviously, we know the Canadian president, the Canadian president,
prime minister, but
yeah, well, not prime minister, but I just say president because it's easier. But the prime minister of Canada, Mexico's president, obviously, Hershey, will have a next president by the time this new World Cup comes around. So obviously, don't expect Joe Biden. To expect someone else. Who's it gonna be? Well, obviously, it's gonna be one of the current politicians. Yeah, so it's like now your thing is like all three of them gonna be there. Who's gonna be there to represent the United States? Because I won't lie, that kind of worries me in all fairness. But who's gonna be there? And I wonder if they're gonna have all three. And actually, if anything, another thing I'm kind of curious about is the opening ceremony because, America. A lot of people in the world know it's kind of like the land of the free, but also like we have a very diverse culture. We have people from all different countries that come to live with us. We have singers, we have dancers, we have so many entertaining acts that they either were originated here from America, and even America, the different areas of America. I mean, the South, like we're from Texas, is much different from California, from New York, from Minnesota. It's very different.
South Texas is completely different.
Yeah, everything outside Texas is different. And then you have people who came from other countries, they immigrated to America, and maybe they brought in their own cultural things that can. I'm very excited to see the opening ceremony actually at the next World Cup.
That would be the other question too, is that who's going to have the first game? Is it going to be Mexico? Is it going to be Canada? Is it going to be United States? Who's going to host the opening game?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the last question before we end the show is what happens if we're all in the same group? Because it's randomized, mind you. This is randomized, so it could happen.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a very interesting World Cup, and I'm so excited to experience it. But I will leave with this, is that I cannot wait to see it, enjoy it, have fun with it, experience the fans, the love of the game, and just get excited for it.
Yes.
But then next week we're back to our regular scheduled programming because the World Cup's over.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there won't be a show next week because it's Christmas.
This is true. Well, not just Christmas; it's your birthday.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about birthday. Okay. All right.
It's his birthday.
No.
It's his birthday.
No birthday.
It's his birthday.
Either way, guys, thank you so much for listening. But that is all the time we have for today. The World Cup took half my soul, and now in 4 years it'll give it back. What is that song like? I gave you my heart, and then the next Christmas you gave it away, or the next day you gave it away. That's what the World Cup did. I gave him my heart, and he took it away. Except this Christmas, I'm not gonna give it to someone else because the World Cup is still next 4 years. So is what it is. But Eunice, what do you got?
Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, including RYM Network. Make sure to catch our merch on the RYM website. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Because to be fair, I only know about Hanukkah and Christmas when it comes to celebrations during this time of year. But I know there's probably other ones that I don't know. So I was also saying Happy Holidays to everyone, since we're not going to have a show next week. Hope you guys all enjoy this time spending either with your family and friends, or if you don't have anything to celebrate and decide to work, hope you made a lot of money.
Amen to that one. Happy holidays, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, everything else in between. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you probably in the new year.
Yep.
Perfect. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.